What? I believe it is 11/11 still, yes, on the leap day. Um, Leap year, once every 4 years, Saturday, the 29th of Feb. I don't know how many each, how many days each month has. 42 anons. I don't even know if I am 42. Born 78, conceived 77, conception, and so yeah, just an interesting with the if you are a calendar fan. Um, I'm going to give you an update, and then I'll let Kev say hello to you. I got quite a bit to bestow upon man, so Kev is here with me. He's good, and I'm going to say to you that we are going to arrange a chat with brother Andy of the Divine Clan soon. I've just mentioned it to Kev, so we're going to do some emailing and see if we can get a mutually convenient time. If not, I will go and facilitate a chat over there. Um, some of you may have been on the cast when brother we was talking about brother FPV from FPV Angel channel here on YouTube and part of the Advanced Particle Matrix Alpha Papa Mikey team for the works of the Nazca lines and the universal coding of the realm. I'll leave it at that. So we was chatting about stuff and about and then he came along and mentioned that the Gloucester Channel and Romley Stewart may be interested in talking to Brother Santos. And could we see about giving a nudge and finding anything out? And I was quite shocked to see F appear as we talked about him, and then he appeared as a messenger with burning gears, it seems. So I have been to the Gloucester channel, not Romley Stewart channel, but the Gloucester channel, and the video named entitled 2020. I've commented on and said the F has been along, and I've had a few podcasts with Santos and Sun and Moon, and we're putting it to Romley. I said thank you and thanks for the information. I did give him some courtesies, the language, the styles, the capacity, some of the syntax with the italic and everything. So the bottom line is, if you go to the Gloucester channel, Scribes, and you have a look at the 2020 video, and then one of his more recent videos, I forget the title. I've commented on two videos, so if you can find them and back me up with I've asked to have Romley come on and on here, and I'll invite Santos, and I would like to facilitate them mind meld. Santos and Romley have a chat about what go on in Babylon on Indiglo. So I'd facilitate the two Jedi masters to come on and let rip. So that's via FPV and myself and P900. And then you, if you go to the Gloucester channel and find 2020 and one of the more recent videos, and find Indiglo comments and back up and say how much you'd like to, or maybe if you've got any other ideas, now's the time to let me to put them out. Then with FPV still being in the mix and P900, they also through the Hangouts app had a little chat with me. We had a private chat to sort out what go on, and they updated me with their current works on the particle matrix and the Nazca lines and the overlay of the map systems that they have. I won't go through all of the names now and what they use. And I was privy to a good hour with P900 and FPV. I was very shocked by the claims and the accuracy. Not because it's far out. I'm not contesting what they say. It makes sense, and I'm shocked to see the level of research and articulation and the actual due diligence, and with brother Claudio and that man and his mind and the key. We had Bonacci, Silvaggi and Jeremita on Sun and Moon chatting, and he brought out his key video of the maths and the wheel, and the numbers and the algorithms and the correlations too. So I think with Claudio and FPV and their research, I don't know if any of you watched the Balls Deep and Santos with Eddie Bravo. That's something else. So I told you this year was going to be big, and we're only at the 29th of the leap year of February 2020, and we are breaking through barriers left, right, and centre. So I'd also like to invite, and I did say to FPV and Sandra P9 that I'd like them to come on and have a hangout maybe, and then they could come and introduce to my scribes if they haven't been privy to the works and the studies and the research, an hour or so thereabouts to introduce what they do and their fine works, and credit them for where they are and their views, because it does correlate to our research. It is all connected, and I did apologise for not being in touch with them and dipping out and concentrating on, but we're all in our areas. F did say something like whatever areas we're in, we seem to all be in the right areas and doing the right work, and we just need to keep checking in and just balancing up. So respect to the team for that. There's a brother called I'd like to, he does water, and I've uploaded some videos about water and the filtration, so he's going to come on and talk about he's a wise man, South African, now over here. Get ready for some house it on some water science. So the last bit before I let Kevin is the thumbnail used is what happens when you go to the Book of Faces, and I posted the video that I uploaded to here the other day of the Keshe Foundation and the doctor there, and Cup One Life GANS water. That's been removed by YouTube because it has violated the community guidelines of they wouldn't know what violate is, violations, here we go. So I've had a little telling off in a way of a deletion of a video, and an agent, and I've put a little post out on the community feed there about what I think about their their censorshipping of freedom of speech. Is if it could save a life, then potentially that reason I'm in. I'm not in it because that we need to investigate, and knowing the academic sciences and medicines from the Rockefeller Foundations and etc., we know that we have to research it ourselves and see it for ourselves to believe it, because we'll just go for cigarettes and how they proclaim that they don't cause cancer and that they're not bad for you, and the CEO of Nestle coming out and declaring that
surgeons recommend
that water isn't a human right. That was a CEO of Nestle.
Yeah.
And don't forget, when we're talking about tobacco and cigarettes, there's a general involved, and he's called the Surgeon General. So that's your jam-packed update. Before we begin and say hello to the scribes and whatnot, and thank you YouTube for removing a video that could potentially save lives. Your policy, in fact, is icy, a very icy policy, and it generally violates man's policies and ethics and moralities there. So, well done to that operator, agents, and to the YouTube for what you do there in the way of arresting development and science, to be fair. So I have got a copy of that video, and I am sharing it. I'll put it on Facebook to see how long it lasts there, and I'll share it with those that want it, and we will carry on the discoveries. So with yourselves, with the other channels that I've mentioned, big things go on. Big Kev is here. Over to you, the living legend. I yield.
Thank you. Hi everyone. Hope everybody's okay. Good to see you all in the room. Alan, Peter, as the people I haven't messaged. Now I've got to talk. I can't type and talk. Can't do just bloke. One thing at a time, and I'll do that badly. Everybody's had a good weekend so far. Been able to chill, I hope. Not too much pressure. Nobody giving you too much grief. Not much to worry about. Got all your papers in order. It's good to see you all. No, Dave, no to go in the chat. Just did about an hour across on on the .com, just to ourselves, really. Well, not too bad. Not a lot to report. It's weather's miserable. Kidney trouble.
Yeah.
Life goes on. But yeah, it's all good, people. Much love to you all.
I'm just going into the chat now to see what go on, see who's in, and yes, I've got a new shipment of GANs. I've got some trust property, so the idea here is to get some discretionary beneficiaries to give the trust property to, and then we will see how you get on with these bracelets, and you can borrow them from the trust. Like, I'll send them out to you. We're going to select some from here on Tube and the .com, and then Facebook as well, and I'll give like Kevin, Greg, one to wear, and then I've got some GANs liquid in that picture that I've put on the community feed page for here. So I haven't had backache for 4 or 5 days now. I must admit I've got a wristband on my left arm, a wristband on my right arm, and I've got a necklace around my neck. So I'm wearing 3 GANs chains, and I've got some GANs being put next to the distilled water and filtered water. So it's allegedly it's powering out the vibratory fields there, resonant fields, and it's charging the water. There is also more news. Everybody sit down, because this is really cushy. This is like the piece de la resistance when we're getting it down to things now. He mentioned Brother Anders when I rang him to say thank you and blessings, and what the hell is this white stuff in this bag, mate? To be fair, you know, liquid white. Yeah. It's just that's just fresh. Wow. Oh my days. And he mentioned that there is a Victor Schauberger carafe in his gaff. Man's gaff has got a Victor Schauberger carafe. And if you don't know what a carafe is, it's not anything like a giraffe, and it's not anything you wear. It's not an item of clothing. It's from France. It's a jug that holds water. And Victor Schauberger was a man. And Victor, he made the most of nature's what would you say, algorithms and codes and frequencies and sequences, such as what have you got? The Pythagoras pi, the Fibonacci sequence there, the flower of life. He looked at the mathematics and the preservation, sonically boiling water. I think he was renowned for one invention, a gadget. And then if you use not a propeller but an impeller, and you change the shape of the fan to drive the water, you can move thousands of litres of water with a tiny little fan. And you can preserve the life of water by moving it. This is where we're getting to moving it to the spiral, like the golden ratio. There we go, as the spiral. And if you monitor and you map out the the sequencing of numbers, and you draw the spiral, you will get a tornado shape, the sequencing of life, the sunflower shape. So water can be recharged, and it has a memory, and it's basically a massive computer. It's very weird. It's almost like an alien substance once you get to understand, like Masaru Emoto, messages from water, and then such other things like these Ganses, and the molecular changing by putting it into copper, the fact it can hold memory. It's got hydrogen in it that you can burn. It's just incredible. It really is. Just water in itself is massive. The applications in the states and the conditions of. So we will see, fam. We will see indeed. What go on this year with the moving forward of. Kev, do you want to say anything?
Oh, I was just reading the room. It's a new name in there tonight. For me, anyway.
So I'll get you. I will find the man that makes it. I'm going to interview him. He's called. He's going to use his real name, but I'll get the name when it comes. It's through Anders. He's over in Sweden. He's a mathematical applied brother scribe initiate. He's researched and he makes and he distributes and he's up to speed with Victor Schauberger water Karat, but it's just the principality and the beginning era
like
of
a vortex.
boom. I'm like Sweden, so you're doing law, you're doing science, you're doing GANs. Sweden's kicking ass. Let me give
Bring it
Sweden,
on.
yeah, and brother Anders and his man's out there. I said I'd like to go over, and he's telling me a ticket return something like £60. I went, yeah, well, with the corona kicking, it might cost me quite a lot more than £60, and we'll wait for a bit, and But I just said I'd like to go over to Sweden, and he's got a yard, his gaff, and it's in like a field, and he's got a picturesque views. He's not in a city or anything, and he's got like I says we could have a seminar there. We could actually just do a pop up. We could come out and see you, a few of us, and get over to Copenhagen. Is that right? Yeah, Sweden, sugar. I think Copenhagen. That might be right. Yeah, and then go from there to train and get down to Sweden. I think that's.
Stockholm.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's it. I forget, mate. But yeah, and I just said I'd like to go over. That'd be really good. So Sweden, kudos to what you're doing. And there's another interview lined up to do with water and technology, golden ratio, Fibonacci, Pythagoras, and other resonance technology. You see, it's all in the same area. The language that's being uncovered that's going to benefit us. You're all going to be beneficiaries of. So not just law and protection of the blood, and saving lives, viruses. There's lots going off, and all I am is a mouthpiece and a repeater for some of you. I can cope with the fluxes from different areas, and I'm interested, like you are, in quite a lot. It's said that most that talk about FE, flat Earth, are all like would-be budding scientists in the that never made it to the scientist route, so regarded as very intelligent, intellectual, balanced, leveled, rational minds and men. So give yourselves a pat on the back and keep it up. A high yield. I'm going to look at the room, see who's in.
Look at room.
Look at room. Yeah, there's a lot going on. Have you seen anybody you like, Kev? Anyone nice in?
Oh, I like everybody in the room.
I was trying to repeat to Kev something. I was talking about the certification of birth and the live extract and so forth. I was on about it comparable to a death certificate, and once the event is registered with the bondsman at the General Registry Office, I said there was a scribe, and I see the first comment was all right, David and Kev, and I think it was this man who quoted me about the implied meaning and definition. So when you have in the grammar the inclusion of like the birth, then I forget the exact verbiage, but Simon, if you could please now type in, because he's very eloquent with his words. He can remind me and frequent me with that. I see Jerry, Stephen, Peter. Who else is that? Alan, OMG, Gamer, Easy, OMG, Girl Gamer, Art, and much more. Try drinking water from a celery stick. If you live in high flat, you can taste a big... Wow, look at that. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Bosh.
Andy, I've given them out. I've never had to use one. I know people who have. I've given them to people. Nil income forms, that is. Mr. Greggs, good evening. Mr. Blair.
I see lots of hearts. Yes. What does the GANS actually do? Right, Alan, from what I've come to be told and what my research and discovery is so far, there is two types of GANS, a gravitational GANS and a magnetic GANS. The magnetic pushes out and gives out a field, a radioactive field, but not like a yellow cake iridium radioactive substance. It's just that it gives out an energy, so you would notice it, you can measure it. So the gravitational sucks in and pulls in ions and energy, and these are GaNs is gas in a nanosolid state, and the types of gas that you can obtain in a nanosolid state come from mainly copper and zinc, and the oxidization of them, a little bit like what we do with the hydrogen, and small current and volts with an electrolyte in the water will allow man to do this with your negative and positive in the right ways, and with the right setup in the controlled, professional, regulated, monitored, safe, everything like that. It's not just some jars and tape and whatnot. The Eco Motors has gone a lot, and others have gone a long way to develop this technology that's very simple. So based on that, atomic, electron, electrolysis, splitting of atoms and technology and changing of molecular states, when none of us are scientists, but we're just having a crack, okay, we're allowed to. Then with the GaNs, similar process, your cells in your body contain quite a lot of copper and zinc already, elementary, in different molecular structures, so they will go well. If you've got a cell and it's been attacked by a virus, and that virus is attacking loads of cells, and Western medicine is failing to deal with it. There's quite a few of them, to be fair, that are left untreated and unremedied. What they are claiming is that the cell will be eaten by the virus, and if you go with the GaNs and you go with a powerful GaNs solution liquid, and you wear it, or you go in a field, there's apparently technology, GaNs frequencies, it reverts you back to the state of the time when you're in the womb. That means it puts you in an environment where it's comparable sonically, frequency, and physically to being in your mum's womb. Protection wise, that's the protection from radiation, ions, the solar, everything that's out there, the radio, the electromagnetic. So your cells are all making a volt, a current, a tiny volt, and you've got millions and millions of cells all producing a volt and a current, a currency. So you're alive and you're charged. Not going to the law side of it, but you are bio electronically, your biorhythms and your biostructure. So these scientists have worked out with the secrets of the universe and the 369 and the toroidal and the vibration, Tesla's work and others, and Schrauberger and Grebnikov and many others, that the cellular operation of a virus can be beaten by you attacking the virus electromagnetically with a type of a field, a bit like Raymond Rife as well. Those that know about Rife and the technology that he made, and then that was suppressed, and it was filtered and censorshipped again, much like the Smithsonian's and the giant skeletons. So we have to get it while it's there before it's gone, and it's gone, past the time. Where chemicals and invasive, arbitrarily non-natural ways are given to us that have more side effects than beneficial ways. So the GaNs is this new technology, which I fully understand. It's got the full capabilities. You've had Brother Santos talking about atom balance, and Ken Wheeler, and I've got some other channels that do a lot of good work, and they're all based on this same principality. So this looks like a green for a go before we even investigate it, because it's ticked all of the correct boxes of requirements for that we're already involved in, like the hydrogen water and the Bosnian pyramids and the scalar waves and everything, and Eric von Däniken. We're into a lot. So this looks like a validated. The fact that YouTube have removed the video spells volumes to me, and if you look at my comment, I thank them in a way for validating it, because that means that I've by violating the community guidelines, you're now on a government watch list, and you've been a very naughty boy. We've deleted the video, and you're hanging on a thread basically.
How dare you inform people?
Right, we're on it. We're all on it. It's out there, and it's not secret. We're not selling it. We're just trying to get together and all agree. There's claims that this man has tried to sell tickets to the moon, and there's a lot of other claims out there. But there's claims about good men left, right, and centre. There's Julian Assange being bum raped by the legal system, but whilst the whole world watches, it's a mockery. So. And there's claims that man's locked up, miscarriages of justice left, right, and centre, and good men Tesla's tech was stolen, and technology, the combustion engine. I told you it's embarrassing. We're 120, 150 years behind where we should be. We're killing the environment. We've got Greta going around leading a band of merry men when we've got all this concise, brilliant, simple technology that's been hidden from us. So it's just a joke sometimes, what they say and do, and the food we've got. We're eating food that fills us up. But
don't forget all the frequency stuff. All the different frequencies shown to break virtually all of them apart. That's all been suppressed.
Yeah, C60, Michael J. Fox getting his Parkinson's sorted out with elements of cannabis oil and no longer shaking, and muscular sclerosis, muscular dystrophy, different things with just alchemic, elemental, organic fixtures. UK is now licensed to grow cannabis down south and ship it out for medicinal reasons when we've had it illegal. Mostly, and not grown for medical for the last 100 and whatever, how many years since the Crown has established that rule. 1970 something, I believe, but yeah. So we're turning around.
Yeah, they still say there's no medicinal value, yet we're the biggest grower in the world of medical cannabis.
Someone's making a shitload of money from that one.
Someone's sucking someone off. I know that.
Right.
Sorry.
Back to the room. Love, Kev.
Back to the room.
Dave, be back later, says Alan. Alan's bopping out for a bit. Peter.
Okay, I'm back up at the Jan's question. I have been past these before. Alan's retracting messages, and
Greta is saying get rid of the cows, and Putin is giving out free land if you take on loads of cows and milk them. Oh, really? Thank you for that, Stephen. That's made me chuckle. I can see that Putin was also in the news for allegedly informing the nation of the new world management system that's in with the control system and the presumed assumption and the danger of. So I don't know what he's done there, but the Western media are slating him. So he's also giving away free land if you will milk the cows, and yeah, that seems fair. Yeah, and not kill the cows. Yeah, we milk them and leave the cows and become vegetarians. Well, Gil Gamer. I just want to say Gil Gamer. That will do. Ever thought? That's a nice way of putting it. It's a good view. I've looked at some videos now, and it seems that they put some water down the channels, and they had different types of water and elements and some types of mineral in there to make hydrogen gases, and the hydrogen gases, energy and ions, and there's claims that they were pyramids of giving out power. The Great Pyramid of Giza and others. The Pyramid of Bosnia, Dr. Sam Osmanovic has testified and had 4 different scientists go up there with 4 different independent sets of kit that aren't linked in any way at 4 different times, and have all found that the Schumann resonance of 7.83, which is now up to about 12 and 14 because of electromagnetic interference, but inside the Bosnian pyramid it is at 7.83 with the ions and the electromagnetic radiance reduction of inside the catacombs of the ravines there. You go to the top of the pyramid with a drone with your scientific independent radio and electromagnetic measuring equipment, and it tells you there's a wave coming out, and a scalar wave, and these pyramids, they are built and positioned on top of water. The water is a key. When you see a river running and you have it underground, and you position another river running parallel above it, it creates, is weird. You can put copper round, let me think, which one is it? Copper or something. Magnets can be formed. There's a form of a harness where you can create sparks of electricity by putting water through either copper coils or some other types of coils. I'm digressing, but the pyramids, they are positioned on top of power points of the landmass in some way, ley lines and etc. And then they are also built with that energy underneath them, knowing there's energy underneath them to encapsulate it with the quartz and the lead scalin coral castle and what he was a Latvian, him. I thought he was a clever American. Turns out Ed Lead Scalin was a Latvian living over there that did that. I'm like, oh my days, even better. European American just went, you know what, I'm going to show you all how to build some kick-ass, temple type homage too. So that interested me, the way that he just as a Latvian in America somehow managed to do that is really just credit to. I've seen the pyramids themselves were not built as tombs for pharaohs. That
No.
much is crap.
No way.
What do you think, yeah?
No, there's. Well, I think that's pretty much certain. Isn't it really? Great big for the tiny little rooms that's supposed to be tombs in there. Just it don't make no sense. And all the mathematics around it all and that. See that's all reaching out. It's all part of the machine.
Alan Blair, stop everything. Alan Blair's the man of the match, the man of the game. Thank you, Alan. There it is. Read it and weep. Sovereigns, initiates, read Alan's words and take them in. Do you see it? What is it? Incluso unicis est exclusio alterius. The inclusion of one is the exclusion of another. So the birth certificate, it includes a birth, so it excludes the other. 11, column 58. If you look up birth in Black's Law 5th edition, you will find that birth includes a stillbirth. Boom. What? So that's how carrying. I'm sorry, those of you that have been affected by the loss, and I have too. I have been with a partner. I don't say this lightly. It makes my skin and my brown pooey bits itch. All right, to put it politely, but it's viewed as a death certificate for those reasons, not because we're trying to be clever or because it's black or anything else. By their viewed as a certificate because the event is registered with the bondsman and entries made into the book, and then after the proclaimed 7 years that are non-disclosed via the CQV of the 1666, you got your 1707, and there's also a 15 something, I believe, 33, don't quote me, but there's 3 of them, and because of the 21, the key, the card, okay, and we put the card in the bin or we might put it in a box and save it. Either way, it's not utilised as a major to claim your correct title, settlor, king position and reset, however that would be done for the administrative remedy. So the birth certificate, we are the holder of it in due course, and it's the equitable relief that we so rightly deserve as the creditors. By us not coming here into the realm, there would be no certificates. Therefore, ergo, their bonding and certification system and the way that they do the SPVs and hedge funds and etc. wouldn't be running, would it? So, you see, we are part of this world, but we are no part of it now, because that's the part that we don't play, because that's what we're assumed to be. The Walking Dead. Thank you, Alan, and scribes and mums. I'm sorry. I don't say this lightly. It's not fun for us, but we do take fun in bringing it down and showing you how we're going to get out and why. Ugh. It is busy in the chat room. We got 27 in, and for those that want a copy of the video of the Save a Life, I will make a video of exactly what he's doing, and I will share that one as well. So we'll work out what's going on. I will get these bracelets sent out in the next couple of weeks. If you're a bloke and you want one, and you're a bit worried about the neon green and what it is, and the fashion police, just you can hide it under a jumper whilst you're out and about. If you've got arthritic pains, if you've got nervous dispositions, if you've got anxiety, anything like that, then email myself, David, at splspro.com, and I will, in confidence, liaise with you, and you will become a discretionary beneficiary potentially. Not everybody that emails me, because I've only got a limited amount, and I'd like to include all the fam, so I'll send some to foreign seas, the pond side, ones that have already helped and supported the trust and possibly donated previously or regular. Then I'll give you some priority, because that's just the way, to say thank you. And I've got enough to send out, for free, and you borrow them, and then when you've done and you've got the review, praise and grumble, then you return them. I'll cover the cost for the trust, will cover the cost for the return. I'll send them out with an envelope, prepaid, as long as you need, and then let us know what go on. I've got some.
Anders,
I've got some gans for Kev to send down.
Samantha,
Anders,
evening, Lisa, Quinn. Sorry, I'm just saying a few names while you're breathing.
yeah, he's got some gans to send to you from Anders, just because he knows that you're recovering, and you're afflicted with pain and your back and stuff. So he said,
All having the right time, Anders.
kidneys.
Yeah, kidneys yesterday was real bad. Actually had to remove myself for the day. Felt really quite odd and pain, a lot of pain. Not the first time, but definitely kidneys, as I say, back being tall, back something I know about as well. But no, this was, yeah, it wasn't pleasant, but feeling much better today. But a bit drained from it, to be honest. Even breathing at one point was painful, but I was all right generally sitting still. As soon as I had to do anything, oh my God. But yeah, it wasn't back. There was no spasms or anything like that. It was, judging by a few other things, signs, should we say, or
Yeah.
it was definitely, seemed to be some dehydration. So it does sort of tie in into my kidneys, but yeah, it was really, really painful. Could even be stones. Could be.
Yeah. Could well be.
I do drink a lot of water, although that has, I'll be honest, the last few days that's backed off a little bit. But yeah, not pleasant. Got enough pain
If you've
without
got,
adding more.
yeah, if you've got any I don't know, remedies for pain, I used to go in the garden when I was having a zigzag overnight, and to relieve my back pain throbbing from the day's activities, and 5 seconds, touch your toes for 5 seconds, and then you could feel the bottom of your back. Sometimes you'd feel a pop. It doesn't hurt, but you'd feel a disc pop back in, or you'd feel like a warm sensation where the nerves that are hurting and giving you the pain, they're being stretched out. So I don't know for everybody if this will work, but regular for the last 6 months, a year, I've been stretching the lower part of my back by occasionally touching my toes. My toes have a fag, and it gets rid of it, and it relieves it for a good few hours, if not till the next day. So before I go to bed, I don't want to go to bed with backache, is the methodology here. And I've learned that if I exercise and stretch when I have a fag, which takes no time at all, you just stood there looking at the stars, spotting UFOs, etc. I thought I'll try this out, and it works. So now, since I've been wearing these green GANS bracelets, I've said to Kev that for the last week I haven't noticed that I've remembered relieving my back pain, and that's because I haven't had any back pain. And I'm not saying this is going to fix anything. All I'm telling you is the effects that I'm having, within myself. So I did actually take all of them off, and go about one day, and then I came back with a throbbing, aching wrist, as I have done before. So I was told by the academic world that my aching, throbbing left testicle was due to a cyst, And when you know, I had this for 6 years. I had an aching, throbbing left, you know, nut for 6 years, and it was constantly like, you know, there. I didn't ever forget it was there, and you just dealt with it. If any of you go around with a back pain or sciatica or any kind of disposition, I feel for you. I really do. I feel for you, and wow. So, you know, I went to see a chiropractor, somebody, a friend of a friend, who gave us like a, you know, a good deal, and they clicked and pulled and messed a good 45 minutes. I was there, and when it had finished, I got up, and to my amazement, I no longer had old throbby lefty. I was like, hang on a minute, hang on a minute. And I said to Kev, I was walking up and down the room for a bit. I didn't believe it. I thought it's going to come back in a minute. It's just my mind. You're the best chiropractor I could have ever have come to, because you've sorted my back out. I heard it click, you know, and he's done all my fingers. He even pulled on each finger and clicked them, did all my wrist, properly down the arm. You know, he didn't just do the back, all my legs, my feet. You know, just properly. 45 minutes. It wasn't too intense, but it was enough. And I heard bits move. You know what I mean? You didn't need to be told. You can, when you hear your own bits click and you feel them inside, you know it's working. And then obviously I got up and, hang on a minute. So the academic realm and this ultrasound, what I had that revealed a cyst that was a primary cause. I told you before. I'll share it with you. You know, what we get told and what it actually is not actually the same. So I was the happiest man ever to pay a quarter of the price of a chiropractor to go and get back pain relieved, and to get
Yeah.
to lose old lefty after 6 years. I'd have paid hundreds of pounds for that. Do you know what I mean? And I just thought, so what we get told and what actually is, I can testify. Yeah, testy.
Dave,
Yes, man.
Dave, just quickly, can you give your email out again, please, for Samantha
Okay.
Sargison?
Can I stop talking bollocks? Yes.
No, well, no. We'll come back to your bollocks in a minute, Dave. No problem.
Yeah, we'll do
It's
it.
yeah, David. It's Samantha. It's David
I've
at
done it.
splspro.com. Now he'll do it in English.
Yeah, Anders is talking now. He's in. Anders is in. I just seen
Yeah,
Argentina's
yeah,
in house.
Said hello to him a while ago.
Let's read the room.
Read room. We're not going back to your bollocks then.
Now we've covered that extensively, but for blokes,
Extensively earlier, including a limerick.
yeah. Anders has sent me a PDF. All right, yeah, I've got a lot of info to upload to the forum, and to I'll do a video about it as long as the channel remains. It may disappear at any time. I do feel. We'll see. We've done all right so far. Thank you, Anders. What a legend. What a true initiate of self. A scholar. I've got full strength Wi-Fi. That's all.
Yeah, I've had it buffering here. I mean, I've got the chat room, but it locks out now and again, and then all of a sudden, loads of stuff appears that wasn't there, so it's a bit jittery this end.
The birth certificate is your receipt for your estate and proof of claim, Alan Blair. Yeah, don't forget your biological estate, your body, you know, your mum and your dad, and get together, do the bedroom dance, the egg and the sperm go together,
Oh, right.
you know.
The beast with two backs.
Yeah, the beast. Oh my days! And then the biological wonder, you know, is created. That's you, Alan, David, Kev, Quinn, Sam. Everybody, you know, so that's your estate. You are the Lord and Master. The what is it? The kingdom, the temple of Solomon. Sol, you know now, is the son. SOL. Sol. Of, generally of, or just a breather, a pause. O'clock, O'Malley, you know, so it's just, you know, Sol, and then Mon is one. Sol, son, and of one, son of one. So the temple, son of one, you know, King Solomon's temple is under the dome in your head. Sometimes the king's realm are fragmented, but birth certificate is what came up there, and you know, your receipt for your estate. So don't forget that you have an estate there as well. You know, don't let it get in a state. What is the state of your biological estate? This mentalism we was on about. You know, that's a key part there, where your emotions and your thought patterns and how you are, and whether you get angry or whether you know that you're angry and you control it. It's a form of mastery of its own kind. So
I've just had a great thought. What about that? Because Anders has just put in there about using the GANS water in the humidifier, so it's all throughout the house.
I know he's just gone full bore. He has, bless him.
But I'm thinking like grow room.
Yes, yes, and yes. Oh, yes.
Just be worth doing a control, wouldn't it? Just to see. That would be very interesting.
And don't forget, you can also you can spiral it, and you've got your GANs, and you can
Vortex.
refract. Well, it's called fractalizing
Yeah.
and imploding and spiral. Yeah, so it gets its memory back.
Yeah.
When you spiral water, or you keep it doing the tornado, it makes that shape of the natural line that I brought you when you go on the scale of the solfeg, not the solfeggio, the other one, golden ratio.
Yes.
And Claudio, that's another interview I want to do, or a podcast alongside the others that I've said. So yeah, Claudio and his key and what he's come to deliver, what he's come to produce, and his number syncretism, along with FPV and the
Yeah, did you do
P900s.
something with them a while ago?
I don't know.
Did you speak to... Oh, where do I know that name from? Must be through you. Claudio.
Yeah, on Sun and Moon. Yeah, it was. Yeah,
That's right. Yeah, I do.
Santos Claudio sister let's facilitate.
Yeah, I haven't listened to that,
Mhm.
I must admit. I don't get time. I've got so much. I reckon if I took 2 months off, I couldn't watch or catch up with all the stuff people send me or I put aside. It's just mental.
Plants love the GANs.
Yeah, I bet they do as well.
They love it. They do. They
I
love
bet
the
they
GANs.
do. Okay, what's that original Mr. Runnings?
Lisa, I will send you some GANs. I see that you want to try some. I'll give you one to try, or we'll get you some sorted. I'm going to make some as well, so it won't all be on Anders, bless him. We don't have to send any more. You've done enough, Anders. I will then look at the documents you've given me, and I will look at how to make it, and I will be just like a horror master and yourself, and we will get the scribes. If it does work, now obviously there's no point showing you all and making videos if it doesn't bloody work, if it's just a mind over matter, or it's an elemental thing that I don't know. There's a lot of claims here. Anders, don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype. He said, "You're taking the piss out of my stutter." I went, no, I'm not. It's a tune. He wound me up, he did, bless him. But we don't believe the hype. It was my words to him, until we see with our, own eyes and see the proof of pudding.
Yeah, there's a question in there. So, a judgment order's been received, and it says the defendant is the deed of assignment. Okay, so you can ask to see the note. There must be a notice and a deed of assignment, which you are entitled to see, and I can give you the case law that says you are entitled to see both, otherwise I'll try and flag you. So you could, my course of action would be, again, account into serious dispute, under FCA/OMT rules, conditional acceptance, and the conditions are, what was I just saying? Deed of assignment, so I can give you all that. Do it under GDPR, DPA, if you like. That's where I'd go with that. Put a stop to any enforcement. Certainly.
Yeah, the assignee, because you are the one that signed. You've been assignee. Look at that as well. How it phonetically now. Somebody who signs for something is assigning. You sign for stuff, you know, when we sign, and you've been assigned. The person was assigned the debt then on the deed of assignment. And Kev's got the gumption to tell you what's what.
All right.
Thank you,
okay,
Kev.
it's not what he's saying. Okay.
Well, what are they saying then? They just said what they wanted to ask about a judgment order. So the judgment order is an order, yes, and it's got.
Right, you gave them a conditional acceptance. Okay.
That's good. Puts a liability on the claimant, yeah, and then they've responded
And they
to
just
that.
ignored it and given you a liability also.
Well, they're saying that the signature on the deed of assignment, yeah, that's what he's saying. He's actually. Yeah, liability is for the person. You handle the instrumentation. You can discharge charges. Have they presented a bill? Have they presented a charge? If it's a bill, then it can be, you know, it can be dealt with. Promissory payments such as privately, 1882 bills of exchange, and you can discharge the charges, transfer via endorsement. Have they got anything for you to authorise and transfer? Stay in honour. Chapter 11 bankruptcy, you know, Gold Insolvency Act. I promised to pay, so therefore let's have some disclosure. Let's manage these accounts. This is a civil matter. There is no victims here. You know, we politely decline the offer to contract. The person is not bonded for the corporate arena, and yeah, these gentlemen here are obliged as fiduciaries. You know, much like the surname is the fiduciary there, David. Is the public and commonly known as, yeah, and then you've got Jeremita, the private, and Let's Go Capital, so that's the estate, the fiduciary, Little David, Capital Jeremita. So I've got to then as David private in this realm, like, but even though David the name, the calling is public, commonly known as, I've got to, in my office as David now, as the administrator and the executive, get the Jeremita, which is separate to David, and get him to release so David can manage the account and discharge the charges using the wealth of Jeremita, which is connected to the TDA, the birth certificate. I'm going to transfer via endorsement with the instruments and materials at hand there that I can do with the authorization of the fixture of the equitable asset, which is the signature or endorsement, stamp, thumbprint, autograph, using instruments through such things as bonding systems as the Treasury, the Exchequer, the Home Office, the Secretaries of, which will be authorising and getting certificates like the BG, the bank gyro, and credits and so forth that they present on a statement when you get a bill, and they say, oh, on your statement for your electric or your gas from your utility supplier, they give you the instrumentation on the bottom to do stuff with, don't they? That credit slip at the bottom, that trans gyro credit slip, yeah? So much like if we was to be going to a supermarket, you know, and you get a bill at the end, you get what? They tell you got to pay that. You pay that figure, and that proves that all them items of groceries are now yours. Whereas they gave you a true bill, you could transfer via endorsement and authorise somebody, you know, in an office there to sort this all out, and we could then lower the national debt. But instead, we pay with sweat equity, and we pay with money out of wallets, which is Federal Reserve notes, which are going to allow the more of these notes we put into circulation and spend, the higher the national debt. So much like these charges in that, we don't discharge the charges like at the supermarket, we pay with the sweat equity. So in the court, we don't discharge the charges like we should do, and not add to the national debt, not get locked up, not get liability. We take the liability and we get punished as well in a de jure, de facto, because it's of facts and it's de jure. You know, it's not a de jure process at all. It's a business place. So you've got an of facts place which is doing what? It's just doing due process. It's not doing a de jure process, just a due process of facts, and their facts are assumed and presumed, and it's just nasty. It really is. You're in a hard game unless you're in the right. Your paperwork, you sort this out with paperwork, Kev, generally, because unless you're in a private venue, and you can get somebody to be honourable in this realm and take these private instruments and methodologies, and the clerk and everybody's got to be on side with you. It's very hard to get across, and with the public behind you trying to use private remedy. So that's why your paperwork precedes you, and you'd have to try and manage all of this via the officer in a court type scenario. Yeah, I'm yielding. I need a drink.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say to original. Yeah, I went after a few of your comments. I went back and read the question because I see where you were coming from. Now I understand what you're saying. No, that's right. Yeah, no third party. Absolutely, mate. I was saying to Dave earlier, I've just seen something today that basically nowhere, all this assessment, DWP stuff and that, all this assessment stuff, nowhere are you ever told it's not mandatory. You're never told it is. So there's a lot of it seems like all the poking and prodding everybody's been doing and pulling them apart is finally having some serious ramifications, because there's all sorts of stuff, consent and all the rest of it. It's all so relevant. It's exactly what it's being nailed down to, and what they've all tried to avoid, because they know they're fucked, basically, excuse my French. So no, I see where you're coming from, original. Yeah, fair play. Just read it wrong at the beginning. That's the trouble with texting and stuff like that, isn't it? You can just it was out of context if you want, how you meant it. Now I get it. Sorry for the confusion, mate.
Right, I've moved my Wi-Fi. I've done everything I can for this intermittent issues. They're either bottlenecking it, or it's just some problems with the storm. Don't forget, we've got a secondary storm lashing around now in amongst the microbial corona, COVID-19, whichever one you want to pick. So we've got a lot in the mix here. So I don't know what go on. I've tried to strengthen and make sure and protect. I'm doing everything I can. So I just know that I'm reading the room, seeing what's in, other than original.
Yeah, well done, original. Fair play to you, mate. That's good. Good feeling, isn't it, when it all pans out? Yeah, it would have been nice to have shot it down without getting there, but then, got to look at it all as a learning curve. It's all done for a reason. I like going along, and sometimes just to see where you can get with whatever you've got, So fair play to you. Well done. I love it when people get results.
It's just nice to when this is discovery. That's when we say discovery is a wonderful thing. When you find out there's a mortgagor and a mortgagee, or a testator and a creditor and a debtor and a debtee and a trustee, a trustor, a trustee. You can have a trustor, a trustee, a settlor. The beneficiaries. So when we find out the novation, deed of agreement, and certain little bits to conjecture to arguments that don't involve common law, Freeman and Magna Carta, and we get into the principality of I don't know, the protocols and the nuts and bolts of it. We never really got into the mechanics of. We've learned the monetary mechanics, and we can shout about. Get in front of a black robe in a courtroom using Black's law, against us, a deceptive language that looks like English, it sounds like English, and it isn't English. And English itself is a mixed Babylonian conjecture, contrived legal language of its own. So if you're not speaking legalese and you're speaking babbly English, that's, funnily enough, more or less legalese, as I've come to know it. So it's it's just a death trap. It really is, and they wonder. Many good men have gone down innocently that didn't need to, and things have been repossessed. These rules that they have, the doctrines of, and none of it is ours. And you try to go in there, okay, and remember they have rules in their maxims of law with such things as he who does not know he has any rights, ergo, therefore, has no rights. And, ignorance is no defence, and it's just nasty. It really is. It's not something you want to get mixed up in if you don't know and you're not confident. But then again, if they're going to take the money, and they're going to go for the gold, like Henry Kelly back in the day, then they're going to have to work for it, aren't they? They're going to have to answer some questions, and they're going to have to go for gold. They're not getting the monies.
I was just going to say to Original again, no, it's nice, isn't it? I'll be honest with you, look, I had a little, experience just recently, and the judge in there, it was really odd. It was, it just felt right from the off. It was almost like we'd been sent a little angel, and everything went for me without a doubt. And then she sort of opened some gates, if you like, but it was like, well, I've opened some gates, now I'm going to see how you're going to walk through them. And that's sort of an ongoing thing at the moment. But she was brilliant. And this vibe of, it was the rare little angel in the darkness that you really felt was on your side as much as they could do without getting the bunting. Got a little nod and a smile, and it was all good. Yeah, there are a few out there that aren't horrid.
We've got a question about Canon 2057. Sorry, does Kev say it's good to collapse the QVCs? But QVCs, CQV, look at you again. I'm dyslexic. QVC the shopping channel has now been dissolved by...
You dissolved the shopping channel. Oh, come on, that's a bit strong, people.
I love it. He's the same as us. We're all together in this. It takes a dyslexic to know one. I've caught it. You got me. But then my brain went, idiot, look what you've said. Canon 2057, Kev, over to you. Can you clarify this new finding of yours?
I was meant to say to Simon before, 2057. So Simon said last week, I think it was Simon, I hope I'm getting this right. He asked where it was from. So it's Roman canon law. Okay, 2057, I'm assuming 2055, all that is. So it's Roman canon law. The 2057 is if the administrator, i.e. the person pretending to be judge, refuses to dissolve the CQV trust immediately, then it's basically immediate arrest and punishment. I think it goes into a bit, but I think if you actually look at it, I think it's possibly a 14-year, at least 7 anyway, something like that. But yeah. That's what 2057 is. Don't ask me what 2055 is. I've got a load of them, but I couldn't tell you. But 2057 just happens to be something I've been passing out for a few days in relation to trusts, because obviously it is absolutely about trusts.
It's not a Roman canon.
It's relevant.
I'm looking. I've got a link from... It's saying Roman Canon Law 3.3 Rights, Suspension and Corruption Article 100 Cesta KV Trust, Canon 2036, Canon 2037. I've put the link in. It is a Facebook link. It will need validating. I'm going Canon 2046, 2050. So 2057, any administrator or executor, just my head, that refuses to immediately dissolve a CQV trust upon or cess their fiduciary duties, requiring their immediate removal and punishment. And this has come from, let me get this, here we go, Tube, wait there, because what we do, I'm just doing a search, all I'm doing, this isn't necessarily where Kev got it from, I'm doing my own independent searching, and I'm giving you some links so you can follow me, because hyper, I'm the Pied Piper, look into my eyes and Kev will hypnotise you. Oh, a bit of Top Buzz from 91, fresh in your face. There we go. So that's that. Wait there. And then I've got a link here. I'm not a canon law expert. I call them cannibalized laws of the Bible. So I've left them alone. I know that all courts respectfully use them to use as a language of commerce and bondage. It's the bonding system, to be fair. Legally, you bind, lawfully, We bond. You can't legally bond man. You legally bind him, and we lawfully bond. What happens with a mum and a baby after the moment of crossing over? They bond. Mother and baby bond. So they've taken nature, and they've binded. Binding is the arrest. You get the shackles and detained. They bind you up. They bind wood on a ship to get the wood to go together. The ship, what are they called now? Ship. I said it the other day. Builders. They got a name, haven't they? Their ship. Yeah, I forgot.
Right.
Shipwrights. Thank you, Arkwright. Gladys.
Granville.
When you're building that back in the day, you'd use it with leather and you bind it. So yeah, it's come many and various. So these are laws and canons. Steve McRae came along and says he would use them and get you into the Vatican and whatnot. So I did say, yeah, they use them in the courts, and respect to you if you can put a document together in an ecclesia canon. So what law, what area are we talking? Well, we're not talking maritime, we're not talking admiralty, we're not talking common, we're not talking trust and equity, we're not talking legislation that's mandated upon statute for your person. We're talking ecclesia. Ecclesia is the church. The church is Latin. Latin, ecclesia, Roman. Latin is mixed up with our law. Our law, well, that's secular English, Black's law, the common law, derivatives, and the secret language of the law society has got Latin in it. But that's the language of the church, fam. Yeah, I know. But it's also the language of the court. What? Yes. So canons, the biblical side of it. So, Lord have mercy. It's just bloody awful, if you get my drift. Enjoy that. I'm not sure, fam.
A lot of it. Stephen, it would be part of your armoury if you've established the trust, I would say. And they were refusing to immediately dissolve it. That's when you would use that. That's what I'm saying. It's something. It's not like it's something particular to trust because it's administrative and.
Oh, here we go. Oneheaven.org, Canon D Eos Posit. So we've got canons issued by the Romanus Pontifex down at the Vatican. Right, here we go. And then we've got others that have come along and made canons that may not be. I'm not even in the chat room. I'm all over the tube and the websites and pages now linking. And these ones, who's this? Is this Franco Collins by any chance? Is it another Australian man? In addition to Romley and Santos that I brought I think he's got some Ucadia, it might be coming to my mind. It doesn't say it. It could be something, if this is from the Wayback Machine, webarchive.org, I'm in. One Heaven org, canon positive law 100. So positive law, this is to do with non-Roman. So it could be that these canons are from a third party, Kev, I would say. From my looking here.
Very possibly. I don't, what was sent to me, the heading on it was Roman canon law, so I was just passing it on like that. But it is specific, isn't it?
Let me get this in the chat room. Let me. Yeah.
But anyway, I just saw something else in there.
So good. So good. What? Here we are. Whoa, it's busy. I can't even see me. You lot are on fire. They're fast tonight. I can't keep up, Kev.
Yeah, I've only got a stupid little window as well. I haven't got so I'm only getting a few comments in at a time. Yes, it's
UK Arcadia or Ucadia. Arcadia. All right, then I thought it was Eucadia. Maybe my brain has remembered that Arcadia. Then whatever, you know what I mean. Franco Collins is one. Yeah, you've got Gemstone University in America, California. I think what Josh X has linked up with and got properties with those connections. And then we've got the Ucadia one alongside the Gemstone, also in America, doing stuff, pumping it out. And then we had I forget the other one now. That wasn't as big, but there's a link there for webarchive.org that's got some of that reference in it, so you can go and see that. And then I'd also invite you to go to look at the actual canons of the Romanus Pontifex and the papacies of the popes there, the vicars of Christ, and you'll see the other canons. I'm not going to get them up for your own. I don't want to go near them, to be fair. They disturb me greatly. All of this realm disturbs me. I don't feel comfortable with it. It doesn't sit with me well. Questions and comments. It's 12:20. Yeah, we'll wrap up. We got 25 in though. We're carrying them.
Yeah, I would say original. Just going back to your bit about right. Certainly, my take. If got it in basics. If it's got a title and it's got a number, it's a trust. Anything you're going into the courts, you're in a trust situation. It's not just for chancery. Equities where you're going to get your remedy in chancery. That's where you should be, like mortgages should be in chancery. But in general, everything you're doing is a trust. It's just you've got to, I don't think I need to tell you, it's just understanding your position, where they want you and what you actually are two different things, as you know. So I would say all of these things that we get involved in is trust. It's all trusts.
Mm. It's man's one true currency, and we've recognised that now. It's been hidden from us because it's so powerful. Nobody, if they don't know about it, will be offered it, because he who doesn't know he has any rights, therefore has no rights. You will employ a lawyer, or a brief, or an attorney to defend against the district attorney's claims or the local government's claims upon you. And they won't. They're in an oath with that society, the law society. So we've created our own private society, and we've got an oath to you. And this is what we're doing here today. So give yourselves a pat on the back for all the excellent chat and minds and input that you're giving, because you are democracy in action. The revolution will not be televised, and the 100th monkey consciousness principle will happen overnight with working minds like yours, this master brain that we employ. Well done for not going on Netflix and other such streaming Amazon and bullshit areas that hours of your time on box sets such as Lost. Me and Kev was on about how many hours we've lost to just rubbish that was uneventful and sucked us in, and we could have been doing other such things, and yet man can't handle a 2-hour cast, like, because I've gone past my saturation point. But so thank you all. You are legends and superstars. Indeed.
Yeah, some great chat going. So for some reason I've got just a small chat screen. It's normally sort of the length of one side of my screen, so I've only got like 3, 4, maybe 5 comments in at a time, which is unusual. So, and I'm having trouble scrolling backwards, and for some reason it doesn't like it. But that's it. I think it's something to do with the connection, because it's just constantly buffering. Wi-Fi.
I know. Once we've got done with the GANS testing, I've said to Anders, if he hasn't got any outlets, or he hasn't got any private communication, he can give an email and post an email in to get in touch with him, and you can speak to him privately, of course. And then me being hydrogen doctor already, and then doing silver water, and I'm already messing with electrics and water, and chased up to the Bosnian pyramid. It's a keen interest, and I'll put what we manufacture and what we do onto the .com for a donation of the cost price, and leave it at that. So if anybody wants to know how to make it, you research and take the technology from the associated forum that we'll have in the trust.com there, and then we just share it like that. So I want to continue the research, and we already have applied application of the sciences from already channels that are out on YouTube. John Hutchins, was it not? John somebody, the man with the Star Trek suit that levitated cannonballs and that. What was he called? Hutchinson, the Hutchins effect. He was called the
Oh,
Hutchins. Come
yeah,
on,
Roy
yeah.
Hutchinson.
Hutchins effect, yeah. So we got him.
Hutchinson,
We got
one of
Victor,
them.
the other Victor, not Schraubberger, but Grebnikov and his Beatles and the with the hovering and the and what he was allegedly doing back then, catching the pigeon in the 50s. So um, it's just I love that little dude who made them
Yeah,
noises.
brilliant. Dick Dastardly and Muttley.
That's how I imagine Victor Grebenikov hovering away, doing like crazy noises like that man whilst he's on his beetle wing floating carpet. You've got Vimanas in India back in the day doing it. So, this isn't new technology. When that Ahura Master said this is old ancient technology, they have written about it and the ancient Vedic texts and Indian collection of I don't know if it's in the Mahabharata or the Gita Gita or the I don't yeah, don't ask me, but it's in somewhere and the diagrams and they've been investigated, so written clearly sciences of and so these boys just basically, if he's been in a nuclear plant in Iran somewhere or working as an educated scientific man with nuclear accreditations, from an academic realm and then operate in nuclear facilities, then and that man is one of the men amongst us that knows about what he's saying is, doesn't he? So if he's backing up Keshe that's being deleted and slagged off, he's an intelligent, articulate man with an IQ of 160 that seems like a man of God that's quite pious. Academically, which one of these scenario stories are you likely going to believe that's lying here? YouTube and the media and Facebook telling the truth, and a horror master and Anders and I have been led on a path by Keshe, or Keshe and a horror master and Anders and Dave have found something kind of promoting something wholesome, positive, and back in the day as is depicted on Facebook and YouTube and the academic. Masonic world there are censorshipping as usual. Who knows? We will find out. Indeed.
Sláinte, Jerry. Night, mate.
Yeah.
Oh, hello, what's going on? Sorry, people. There's things flashing and going black on me. I don't know what. Something's turned itself off. Sorry, it was just my.
We've got lagging. The internet's on full.
Yeah, it's been spinning round here forever, Dave. To be honest with you, mate. As I say, that's the problem. And then that's why I can't keep up with the room.
We'll leave it for now. We'll say blessings and good night, and we'll try again. I'll try and improve stuff in the meantime. I don't believe it's my end though, because I know.
No, I don't think. No, this is so. That's weird. What is going on there? Yeah, I've got some oddness going on my phone at the moment. Yeah, it's probably, my internet says it's all right, but I'll be honest with you, it's got a lot of things connected here, so it doesn't surprise me. But I've had the old buffering thing going round since within a minute or two of us broadcasting. That is what it is. But there is a lot of tech hooked up to our wireless here. I'm going to start taking stuff back to Ethernet, actually.
Yeah,
my laptop and that. I'm going to turn the Wi-Fi off. Well, I've got enough room here to hardwire everything, so I'm going to get the Wi-Fi off.
I'm going to go and drink some water from a celery stick. That's what I'm going to be doing. And
Go on, then.
You're going to be linking up your comp with the ether. I'm going to drink stick. It's yeah, I'm up the top. I'm just going through. Just thank you all. Just seeing if I've missed anything before we get off. We cannot continue. It's too weak and sketchy, and we've done a fair bit, haven't we, Kev? We've done all right.
Yeah.
I'm
I
that
don't know
good.
what's going on. There's 82, nearly an hour and a half. We've done a good hour in the other one tonight on our own with nobody listening. Oh dear.
I know, Saturday
Yeah,
night.
yeah. I don't want to do another up. Well, the trouble is, it's easy to do another 1:30, but I could do without it, really. I don't mind, but easily led that I am. But yeah, I could do with winding down a bit. Otherwise, it just gets, by the time I've wound down, it's 3, 4 in the morning.
Ireland has had a massive increase in bowel cancer. The double dose of fluoride.
Yeah,
Rob.
double the fluoride, apparently, allegedly. I don't know if that's, but, well, was it tell you? And then there'll be loads more. What was that? What did you say? Bowel cancer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gil
That won't
Gamer
help before
and
there'd be a lot more Alzheimer's as well, wouldn't it, with that shit?
I just want to say Gil Gamer and Alan Blair have come out with the top 2 comments tonight then, just for FYI. The inclusion and exclusion birth certificate from Alan and Black's Law, and then the celery stick from Gil Gamer. Bless you, thank you. We'll get off and end this shambolic cast. It's no insults, it's just this is poor, this is sorry everybody. We'll try again. And yes, we'll see you soon. We'll be back in the near future, won't we, Kevin? I'll get some guests on, as I've said earlier on in the cast for you. We'll get the GANS technology on the .com.
Big love to everyone. Thanks for listening. Thanks for joining us. Ridiculous hour again. And we'll be around next week. Failing disasters, I'm sure. If not before, who knows? Might do another Monday surprise. Do another 1:30 in the morning one.
Monday surprise.
But it's just like, all of a sudden, there's 3 hours gone. Just blink. Where the hell does that go?
Yeah, we're social
Anyway.
butterflies, aren't we? Such social butterflies, all of us.
Oh, yeah. Terrible. Can't shut up. That's what the problem is.
Yes, that's it.
Thank you, Lisa. Alan Quinn. Celine. Everybody in the room. I think I've covered everybody tonight. I'd like to say hello to you all.
Quinn and his Batman.
Mark Downey, Simon. Original.
Nutter, original, mad, nutter, original. God, I'm going to do a shy effects now. You never know you're Carpacci, a big in a jungle. That's a Rachel. Why did you do that? Original, just from that one word. Shy effects. Murder. Sorry, carry on.
Did you see the comment from Original, Mr. Runnings?
No, I didn't. Go on.
It's Brad Hilt off FB, Dave. He said.
Okay. Oh, good to know. Okay, Brad. Thank you, brother. Nice to know the scribe to the other platform media alias. I can vaguely remember put that profile to that scribe. Respect. It's good that when somebody came on Facebook and goes, "It's me, Thingy from," I was like, "No way!" And I was really chuffed. Who was it? Somebody said to me in SPL's Facebook a different name, but they said who they was on here as a scribe, and I was like, I see, you follow well, and they come to have a look and let me know their other, and so that was a nice moment. I do, find the smaller things in life give me the bigger boost. Silly little things, and put in different platforms, and you're like, oh, is it you? Is it? Look at that! Look at that!
I see, said the blind man.
There's loads of you. There's one of me. There's one of Kev. So it's hard to keep up. And then when you've got different IDs on different platforms, it's like, wow, thanks for that. Nice one. It's all good fun. We mean well. Yeah, it's cutting off. Lot. Ciao, bello. Stay mellow. No mozzarella. Shh.
Much love. Love to you all. See you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, I don't.